Peace, greetings, dumelang, love and light to you all. Ke a le dumedisa, nyanbulisa. To each and every single person who is tuned in, first of all, I'd like to thank the people who have subscribed to the channel. And also to those who have not yet subscribed, do subscribe, so that you don't have to struggle with finding the channel. And you'll also get notified when I upload things in the future automatically. So you have to also click that notification button. So now, I've been feeling a lot of emotions of anxiety and fear and paranoia, and I just thought that, okay, let me talk about it so that I can help others understand what this is. So today's episode is going to be called Understanding Fear. So first of all, we need to look at humans from their inception when you come into the body. So when we see little kids, when we see little babies fresh born, there's usually there's two primary fears. Usually it's the fear of loud noises and then the fear of falling. Usually kids have those two encoded, and that has to do with survival, because the body itself is an intelligence, or it is intelligent, so it finds ways in which to evolve and to grow. So those fears are actually good in helping the fetus, not even the fetus, the baby, survive. You see, so fear is not necessarily a bad thing, because it has its function in nature, especially in a dualistic universe where there's yin and yang, there's good and bad. So fear can become something that protects you. It protects you. So when you get in the whole situation that has to deal with the kidneys, when you are in a situation where you either have to fight someone or run away, that's called a fight or flight, produced by the adrenal glands. So that's when you are in a situation where you either protect yourself. So now we find that when it comes to fear, when you are scared, a lot of energy moves into your muscles. It moves into your bones so that your body could be energized and you are ready to now take, as I'm saying, fight or flight. So a lot of energy moves from the center. It moves from the center. It moves outwards. It moves outwards into the body. And now we are in that state. We're in that alert state, which is good, as I'm saying, when we are dealing with survival. Adrenaline and all of these hormones released by stressful situations have their purpose, even in sports. Or when you're about to stand in front of people and you feel those butterflies in your stomach, all of that, that's your solar plexus spinning, because your solar plexus has to do with willpower, how other people see you and how you think you are seen in society, and also how you see yourself. So now, fear, as I'm saying, it's not a bad thing. But now the problem is the society that we live in today gives us an overstimulation of fear. So we are always in a fight or flight mode. When you are sitting down watching TV, you are constantly being bombarded with paranoia. Oh my word, what if now there's this disease, now there's monkeypox, now there's this disease, now there's this disease. There's always new things that are coming to kill you. There's always something that's wanting to kill you. So our system is over flooded with paranoia, with anxiety, with all of these things. So watching the news sometimes is not always a good thing, because the news doesn't always give what is real news. Most of the news is 90% bad news. What about the good things that happen? You hardly ever see those. It's always 150 people died today. Not saying that we shouldn't know about that, but why is this the only thing that we are hearing on the news? Are you telling me that in a world of 7+ billion, there's no one out there doing something beautiful that could be reported on the news? You see, so our system is being constantly flooded with emotions of fear and anxiety and depression, because there are entities that can feed off fear, the emotion of fear. When people are scared, the reason why the wars even were set in motion was because a lot of entities could feed off that energy of dying humans, scared humans. You know, you just saw 4 of your closest friends be killed in a bomb, and now you are releasing all of these emotions. So the same emotions that are released in fields of war, released in our homes, whenever we are watching these television, or when you go to horror movies, those are places of ritual, because those emotions, you know, that anxiety, there's entities that feed off that. Just as how you would kill a chicken or a cow and then eat that, there's entities that eat emotional energy, that live in a different vibrational field just outside of the human human perception, but which you could see with an open third eye. You see, so now another thing that causes fear is a lack of knowledge. Ignorance is why we fear. Because we don't know who we are, we fear. And the greatest thing that we fear is each other, because first and foremost we fear ourselves. I remember when I was still in high school, I asked this girl, one of my classmates at the time, I'll never forget this. I asked her, "What are you afraid of?" I was thinking, she's gonna give me the usual suspects, like spiders or snakes or something like that. She said, "People." I'm like, "People?" She's like, "Yeah, people." I'm like, "Why people?" She's like, "Because people can think. People have intentions. They can plan. They can scheme." And I was like, "Yay, Joe. Actually, people are very scary. I mean, look at what we've done to the world. We've conquered the oceans, all the marine life. We've conquered land. We've conquered the air. Now we want to conquer the stars. Humans are the most dangerous creature. And at the same time, they hold the potential for being the most beautiful of creatures. But then now, because we have fallen from our original state, we are dealing with fear, because fear dwells mostly in the lower regions, in the lower chakras, and especially in the root chakra. When you are ungrounded, when you don't know who you are, you carry fear. You carry fear of death, because then now you don't know what's happening at the crown. Your crown chakra is also closed. So there's the fear of the unknown. A lot of people are scared of death. Oh, what's going to happen? Oh, my mom, my dad, my parents, my child. We're scared of that because we don't know what happens after we die. So we have a lot of fear towards the unknown. We are scared of the unknown. But the greatest tool, or the greatest thing that can help you overcome fear, is the knowledge of self. That's why in ancient Africa, the saying is, "Man, know thyself, and you shall know God and the universe and the cosmos." Because once you know yourself, you know that there is no death. There is no death. There is only a shifting of perspective. There is only a shifting, a switching of a dimension, of a changing of a chapter. Does the caterpillar fear being in a cocoon, knowing it's going to become a butterfly? No, I'm going to become a butterfly, bro. Why should I be scared of a cocoon? You see, so now we are scared of death because we think that that's it. It's over. It's over. After this, it's done. That's it. It's just complete pure oblivion. Nah, you're not scared when you go to sleep at night. That's why they call sleep the sister of death. It's the same thing. The same thing that happens to you when you sleep is the same thing that happens to you when you die. Except that now the consciousness that goes in the dream worlds and travels and then does all of these things, the difference is that now it doesn't return in the body. That's the only difference. The cord, the spiritual umbilical cord gets cut at death. And then now you travel. And you can penetrate into dimensions that the body seals you out of while you are still here. The body is a seal that cuts you, that shuts you out of certain levels of existence, so that you could accomplish whatever mission that it is that you came here to accomplish. You see, so it's a temporary seal, hence the seals of Revelations, or the 7 chakras, the 7 spinning wheels. You see, so when they are non-functioning, when they are unaligned, the 7 deadly sins also come in there. Jealousy, lust, envy, and greed, and all of these, fear, all of these things come in there. Because you don't know, you are not vibrating, you are not functioning at your utmost potential. My people suffer because of a lack of knowledge. What knowledge? The knowledge of self, the knowledge of God. Now, I'm not going to stand here and lie to you and be like, oh, I've conquered fear. No way. But there were moments in my life where I was in absolute zero fear. That's what happened in my awakening. I remember this one night, I woke up completely fearless. Just like, I could not even conceive. I did not know what fear was. I remember walking around Johannesburg in the middle of the night. Went to the SABC. So many things. I was in trance. Wasn't scared of. There was no thought of being mugged or nothing. I was nothing. Absolute fearless. And in those states, there's bliss. Because we fear what we really are. And we fear that because we don't know what we really are. So they say that our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. So our own potential, our own power also scares us, which is why most of us choose to remain ignorant. Because now once you come into the knowledge of self, there's a lot of responsibilities that now come upon you. You can no longer blame Satan or demons or blame God for your misfortunes. It's all you. All the power has been given to you. It's what you do with it. All the power has been given to you. What do I use this flame for? What do I use this spark of life? Huh? What do I use it for? This is the spark of life. I could go my entire life not expanding it. And thus then I'll be ignorant. I'll be scared. I'll be fearful. Look how low my flame would be burning without the right knowledge. Without awakening the rest of who I really am. But look at what happens once I come into the knowledge of self. My flame, my spark begins to grow. Wham! All chakras open. No fear. You really become a light in the darkness. You light up the darkness, which is this body. You light it up with the inner sun. So we fear because we don't know. We fear the unknown. Going to a new job, you're scared. You don't know the new environment. Going to anything new, we fear that. We fear change. There's so much to be afraid of in this world. This world is very, very, this world is, it can be a very horrible place, and there's so much to be afraid of in this world. There's so many things to be afraid of. But then all of that is superficial. It's an illusion, because ultimately there's nothing to be afraid of, because everything is you. You are everything. Everything responds to you. It's just that in the dimension that we are occupying right now, there's a cleansing that is going on. So all of the negativity that's been going on for the last 2,000, 5,000 years, all of that, we are going through a planetary cleansing. You see, so hence you see all this, the evil is fighting its hardest to remain and conquer, because there was a time where it seemed hopeless, that we would never reach this point where we could have these type of conversations. But now there's so many light beings around the world that the fear has no place to hide. Hence they say in the end, all which was hidden will be revealed. And it's being revealed. And what's being revealed also is that fear is really false evidence appearing real. It's not really there. It's an illusion. It's in the mind. So the greatest thing to conquer if not the greatest of all things, it's fear. It's fear. It's an illusion. Not knowing that you are one with God. What is there to fear? If you know that you are one with the supreme intelligence, what do you fear? Someone bringing harm upon you? What do you fear? Death? What do you fear? Not making it? What do you fear? Not achieving your purpose? What is it that you fear? Sit down and ask yourself, what am I afraid of? And once you can admit what you are afraid of, you move out of that. You conquer that. It's normal to have fears. And fears vary, Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? And then once you get that, it's your responsibility to now work on that. Or else you'll never overcome that. Your subconscious mind will lock it away. And you'll give responses in your older years that are a result of what is locked away because you've never faced your fears. You see what I'm saying? So fear has its purpose. And I think that the divine purpose of fear is to really push man and humanity in existence into really understanding that there is nothing to fear except the lack of knowledge of self, because then everything else will result from that. Hence the video about the ego. The ego is the one that's really scared because the ego attaches to things. And when the opportunity on the moments of losing those things arrive, then it's scared. It's scared of losing itself, of dying. You see, so then you fear. You see, so fear is a very, as I'm saying, it has its function. It has its function. It's just that like now in our society, it's been misplaced. And we are, it's just everywhere you turn, war, everywhere you turn, kidnappings and rape and murder, and there's so much to be afraid of. There's so much, and you could sit in your room and not go anywhere because there's so much to be afraid of. But do you do that? You don't. Why? Because deep down you know that you were designed to overcome all of these hurdles, so that you can become the example of all of creation, of what not to do, of where not to go, of what not to sever. Sever that connection with spirit. The moment we severed our connection with spirit and came into duality, boom, we opened the doors for fears. The lower we came into the lower material realms, then all of these things also began creeping into our auric fields and bombarding us. And now, so it's your task to cleanse it through the raising of that Holy Spirit, of that Kundalini fire. That's going to burn all of that away. It's going to burn all of that away. So, inevitably, there's nothing there to be afraid of. It's all in the mind. The mind is doing all of this. The mind. Paranoia, you're scared of things, you anxious. It's anxiety, you're anxious of things that never happened. Scared of the future. Depression, you're here contemplating on things that have been. You're afraid of the past. You see, so now you are in two different timelines, and then you are missing out on the most important one, which is now. When you live in the now, you understand there's nothing there to be afraid of, because all things exist right now. Everything is literally in the now, in this moment right here. So in this moment right here, say to yourself, I'm not afraid. What is there to be afraid of? You are okay now. And if you are okay now, tell yourself, I'm okay now. Solidify yourself in this moment, and let this moment where you are affirming the fact that you are okay come in the next moment, or in the next situation where you might feel afraid. Bring this moment to that moment, which is one moment, and say, I'm okay now. I am here, I am now. You have to deal with the primary, with the primary thing. The most primary of all things is your existence. So if you affirm your existence, I exist and I'm here now, then there's nothing there to be afraid of. Are you afraid of non-existing? Is that what you're afraid of? You can't be, because you exist now. So it means that you are existence. You cannot not exist. Because you are here, you are now. And if now is the only time, then it means that there was no time and there never will be a time when you don't exist. So existence is your fundamental state. It's your fundamental nature. You are existence. You cannot not exist. So you have identified in an eternal universe. You've identified with a small blink, with a small tweet, just poof, you've identified with this. And then now you are afraid of losing this, not knowing that you are all of it. You are consciousness occupying this. You see? So if you affirm the fact that you exist, I am here, I am now, I am. You know those questions were like, why? How all of, what is this? What's like? That's what I exist. I exist. How do I exist? Those are the most beautiful questions. How is this happening? How am I alive? Watching a YouTube video. How am I alive? When you think about such things, then you begin to come back to the core, to the real things that you should be contemplating upon. And then in those moments, there's no fear. There's just bliss, because then it's just you and the whole of the universe at your disposal to reminisce upon. And then you really understand that you are the cosmic eternal dreamer, temporarily dreaming non-eternal dreams. Temporarily in this moment, but you are eternal. Dreaming non-eternal dreams. Until you awaken to your eternal nature. And understand that inevitably there's nothing there to be afraid of. It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. Peace, love and light to you all, family. Much love.